I wanted to talk about the Harden thing a little bit. Nobody wants him. That's right. Like, he wants out. He's holding his breath. He shows up out of shape, shows up late, doesn't feel like playing, does a sort of mini holdout, is the reason, Westbrook was traded, and he's here and he doesn't want to play and he wants to go to Brooklyn. Then he wants to go to Philly. And those teams are like, I don't think so.
Yeah, like, no, we're good.
We're good. Like, they're talking about breaking up the Simmons Embiid thing for Harden. They're like, no, I'd rather roll with these guys. And the Nets don't want. They're fine. They're like, we got 2 stars and ball dominant stars and a bunch of good players around him. I don't want him either. I don't know where this guy goes. It's interesting that you're talking about a guy who's arguably one of the most efficient, dynamic offensive players in the history of the league, and certainly in the last 20 years. And nobody wants. It doesn't feel like anybody wants a piece of this right now.
Well, I think it's high risk, high reward for a lot of teams, right? I mean, I don't think it's as simple as, we don't want him. I think it's
you just don't want to give up everything you have.
Exactly. We know what it's going to take to acquire you, and we're not sure you're going to like it here, or we're not sure you're going to fit with what we already have here. I mean, if you're the Nets, I mean, it's crazy to think that Harden, Durant, and Kyrie, listen, 3 of the best players in the NBA, no question. But when you put them on the same team, how the hell is that going to work? And you're gonna sell your future essentially by trying to make that trade work. We just talked about how deep they are. I mean, same with the Sixers. I mean, you're not going to get Harden without getting rid of one of your 2, current and future cornerstones. So it's like almost like not worth it to those current teams. And then you've got some teams that may not currently be in the playoff hunt, but maybe a guy like Harden takes them there. But is that what he's looking to do? Is he looking to just go to some, obscure team and carry this team now to the playoffs? Like, I don't know. There's so many questions where it's
better
like
city, if you're a
GM, you're like, if you're a GM and you're like, and your job's kind of safe, you're like, I'm not going to go blow this whole thing up and have it backfire on me in 2 years.
Yeah.
And also the big problem too is how many superstars or all-stars really want to team up with James Harden, especially teams that already have 2 guys, that already have a good thing.
What's in it for you?
We really want to rock the boat here and bring a 3rd guy in, and I'm telling you, I think the reputation
was it good for you? No,
not just amongst GMs or through the Rockets organization, but also through across the league. I think the word is out that people don't want to play with the guy. But one team that I don't know, guys. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about this. One team I think might do it. Might roll the dice. For some reason, I think they might do
Pacers.
it. No, the Toronto Raptors. Maybe.
Okay.
Did that set up behind you the Carson Edwards thing with Josue there?
Wait, what?
That was one of the great moments in the history of the show.
You told us on this great thing you were going to tell us about.
You started doing some calculations.
Hold on, let me just carry the one.
That was the last one.
What if you played Carson Edwards?
That was the final card in the deck that you could play.
That was the very hottest take of the whole playoff series.
So wait, what was your Harden take?
Hey, get out of here! That's the end of the deck. Joker, get out of here.
What's your Harden take?
No, I mean that's the only team I think that might bite a significant team that's in the hunt or a team that's a playoff team.
Is the Raptors?
Raptors? You said, but they're not going to do it right now.
This is going to be.
This will be later on.
But aren't they still gearing up for a Giannis run here?
That's true. Giannis still hasn't signed.
That's true.
Yeah,
you have to hold out for that, and they have the money.
That's the thing. So that's another great point, because the Rockets. How many teams are willing to wait or not or say no altogether? And I bet you a lot of those teams are nowhere near playoff finals contenders.
We're obligated to ask the question: if they came knocking and they asked the Celtics, "Hey, what do you think?" I've made my feelings clear. I wouldn't trade friggin' Romeo and a future 2nd rounder for Harden. Like, I want nothing to do with it.
I would.
With Ainge.
So forget it. But I mean, obviously, everybody knows here. You're talking, Jalen and Smart most likely to get this done. Which I mean, I don't even think if you see the area code, you can take the call. But is there a world in which you could convince yourself that you would want to do a Tatum Harden tandem and have, okay, I'm going to have I'm going to get my 2 top 10 players and I'm going to do that thing. I'm going to try to be that, Could you talk yourself into it? I could talk myself into it for a top 10 player not named James Harden. I couldn't do it for Harden. I could easily mortgage both Jalen and Smart for someone else in that top 10, maybe. I couldn't do it for Harden.
It's tough because you have the situation right now where Tatum signed for 5 years, where Brown signed for 5 years, and they're both fairly comfortable with their spot in the hierarchy of this team. Brown's gone if you're acquiring Harden. Like, there's no way I can see that trade getting done without that. And then how do you share the responsibility between Harden and Tatum? We've seen Harden fail epically now with Chris Paul. Well, not epic. They worked until the very end. And then Russell Westbrook. 2 ball-dominant guys. Tatum needs to become a ball-dominant player to reach his potential. I don't see it. And, again, I don't want to snub my nose at it because we talk about some of the issues with the top-end talent here in Boston.
Yeah. But, man,
if you could somehow do a Kemba package, but it's just not happening. And that's why this stalemate's going to go on for so long because other teams aren't ready to give up everything. Brooklyn, I think, is, John. I think they're more ready to do this than you think. Their package just isn't great enough because they don't. Karis LeVert's close to being that centerpiece player for a trade, but he's not quite there.
To do with this, Bobby? Are you kidding me? You really think that they're going to consider this?
It wouldn't just be that. It would probably be like one of those, like
you need a third team or something.
No, but it would also be a Nets deal that would be like 5 first-rounders spread out.
I still don't think it's enough.
6 years from now, so like it would be like my first-rounder every other year for 4 years, starting in 2026 or something. Like I could see that potentially.
Houston should hold out for Ben Simmons. I take Ben Simmons over 15 Nets picks. Like that's got to get done.
But that's the thing is the Sixers don't want to do that.
That boggles my mind.
I think another team steps in, maybe like a Hawks team. Like again, if he gets dealt, I don't think he gets traded to one of these top teams. And heck, Atlanta.
I agree.
James Harden would love himself some Atlanta. Like, put him with Trae
James
Young.
Harden would love himself some Atlanta.
The Nets could make it work. I think the Nets could make it work if they
go nuts.
If they wanted it.
Go nuts. It's a win-win for everyone.
I mean, you'd throw in like LeVert and
it's just not
a few picks and make the salaries match. And
all right, so
you have to nail this trade if you're Houston.
Listen,
that doesn't feel like nailing it to me.
Would I trade Brown and Smart for Harden? I probably wouldn't. But man, and the reason is I don't know how well Harden and Tatum could like coexist. I think they're both like they need the ball and like there's only so many shots, and I wouldn't want Harden to stunt Tatum's growth in that aspect. But man, in a world where that would work, how fun would that be to just have 2 like unreal scorers just going down the court?
Step back three. Like you can't defend it, right?
Yeah, like essentially every possession you're expecting some sort of points to go in, whether at the line or behind the arc. I mean, that I can see a world where that would be pretty fun, but I don't know if the Celtics are deep enough around those 2 guys to make that happen. They don't really have, to me, the role players. If you get rid of Smart, I don't think they have the team that could like make that work around those 2 guys.
Well, you would make it a bigger trade. You'd try to get PJ Tucker back and some of the other role guys in Houston that are familiar with him.
I mean,
I don't want to snub my nose at it like you, Jimmy. It's just I see how he plays. This is where we all kind of get sick with him. The 15-second dribbles. And I've heard someone say, I've talked to someone about this, they think outside of D'Antoni it could be different with him, but I'm not buying it. Like, this is how he's become that 40, 50 point per game scorer at his best. Like, he just, everything revolves around him.
But when he's hot, I mean, there's no better highlight reel sometimes when you're watching SportsCenter and watching him go off.
And when he's cold,
John,
those teams
he's way more
dead.
fun to watch than Giannis, though. I mean, we talk about.
I disagree. I disagree with
he's
that.
He's more fun than Giannis.
I don't disagree. Harden blows my mind with that stuff because it's like I can't believe he did that again. I always say like Giannis is like you're again. I keep you making these analogies, but like you're playing on a Nerf hoop in your basement, like and it's like and you're at the 3-point line and then you take 2 steps and dunk. Like that's what Giannis is like.
Right.
It's just boring.
And your little brother goes crying to his mom upstairs, and like that's the end of the game.
Exactly. You're playing against your little brother. He thinks he's got you, and you just go ping ping and you dunk it. That's
I never heard people complain about Shaq, and it was the same thing with him. I don't know what you guys are talking about with this Giannis.
Was more expensive and big, and Shaq was Shaq. I don't know why Shaq was different. All right, so I want to bring it back full circle to where we started. Okay.